Welcome back to the Racing Post Football Postcast. I'm Dave Clark, joined by colleague Ian Wilkerson in the studio with me here on the line. We also have James Milton from the Racing Post and Amanda Nee Coleman from our friends at Paddy Power. Right, I'll stay with you, Amanda. We've got Leicester and Man United next up for us. And have you got a show for us here?
I do. Just before I get into that show, I got that price for you about Sanchez.
Excellent.
So Sanchez to be booked on Friday night, 7-4.
Fill your boots.
That's lovely.
I'm going to have a bit of that as well.
That is my Christmas present to you all. That one.
It's their Saturday. It's their weekend nap all round, I'd say.
Lovely. Right, Leicester, Man United.
Yeah, Leicester we have 7-2. Man United 4-5, and draw is at 13-5. I don't think Leicester were prepared at all last week for Palace. They were seeking their 50th win, come back into form since beating Spurs, but were completely stunned by Palace, and they did have their strongest team out. Apart from the Carabao Cup, let's not talk too much about that. Man U certainly looked like they're shaping up to be a bit of a dream team, of course. And it comes down to a handful of players who were all missing last night. Matic, Young, Mata, De Gea. I think they're very tough to play against when they have their full squad out, and I think Leicester won't be able for them. They got that shock, as mentioned, of course, off Palace, and should have really been picking up those 3 points when they can. But obviously, we mentioned that they were both dumped out of the Carabao Cup, so they'll be both looking to pick it up again and pick up 3 points. And I think it's going to be 2 Premier League losses on the spin for Leicester, I'd say. So I'm going to go with Man United to win, punish them at home, and I'll go with a 3-1 scoreline at 13-1.
3-1, a convincing win then for Man United from Amanda. Now, Mills, Amanda mentioned that Palace result, but Palace are a side that I rate quite highly. So, you know, I don't think it's, 3-0 to Palace is 3-0 to Palace, but I don't think it's a badder result as everyone is quite making out.
Yeah, I think it was a shot. I mean, I was all over Leicester that day. I was really disappointed with them. You know, Palace had come in. I don't think they'd scored in their previous 10 away games. So that was the shot. But as you say, I mean, Palace now under Roy Hodgson are very different to the shambles they were early in the season. But having said that, you know, Leicester, we were talking them up the other week as you know, potentially the best of the rest outside the big six in the Premier League. You know, that's the kind of game they should be winning. I think I quite like Amanda's 3-1 tip. Actually, I was going to go for over 2.5 goals in this game. I think it will be entertaining. I think Leicester's best chance really is going on the offensive. I don't think they've really got the squad to sit back, and they have got some terrific attacking options. So over 2.5 has popped in 4 of Leicester's last 5 games. And United's last 3 away have been a 4-2 win at Watford, 3-1 at Arsenal. That, you know, it could have been any score. So many chances for Arsenal, and then a 2-1 win at West Brom. So I think that there will be goals. But yeah, as Amanda said, I think United probably be too strong for Leicester.
Wilco, do you agree? A festive feast of goals?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a decent game like everybody else. I was amazed that they lost at home to Palace 3-0 because they had been flying. I'd backed them a couple of times in recent games and sort of like thought I was riding the bandwagon and it all came crashing over the side of a cliff. But I would expect them to, you know, be at least adopt a positive approach in this game, and United's tactics will probably allow them to do that. United won 5, drawn 2, lost 2 on the road, so they're not bomb-proof when it comes to away matches, especially when you bear in mind that the Foxes are going to be looking to bounce back. Amanda talks about the players who didn't play against Bristol City in the Cup. One player who didn't start again in that game, who I've been really impressed with lately, is Jesse Lingard. I think he's looked really sharp. His pace has caused a lot of problems for teams. He's buzzing all over the place. He's looking a very tidy player and worthy of playing in a Manchester United team. And I note that he's 11-4 to score at any time. And I think he could have quite a big impact on the game. Yeah, I'll be back in that.
He's a busy bee. He's a Lingard. I'm sure he'll be buzzing about. Right, let's move on to the rest of the Premier League fixtures then. Right, we'll sort of go for a quick fire bet from each of you and maybe a line or two. I'll come to you first, Amanda. Let's kick off with Brighton versus Watford.
Brighton 6-4, 15-8 Watford, and 21-10 the draw. I think both teams have hit a bit of a rough patch recently. Brighton have conceded 23 goals this season, but 9 of them were in their last 4 games. They both kind of flipped on their strengths. So I think they've had a tougher run of games recently, Brighton. So I'm going to go with them to win at 6-4.
Milks for you in that one?
Yeah, I think Brighton probably the value. Yeah, Watford seems to have hit the buffers a bit, and Brighton very strong at home. I mean, the doubts is over their goal scoring, but very very solid defensively. And yeah, I think they could just nick this.
Wilco?
Well, the draw looks a bit of a short price at 21-10, but I would think that these teams are quite hard to split. They're of equal ability, and there's not much between them. And I think this one could finish level.
Right, let's move on to Man City versus Bournemouth. Give us a show, Amanda, and then tell us how many Man City are going to win by.
Man City are 1-12, Bournemouth are 25-1, and it's 10s for the draw. They were sensational against Spurs at the weekend, weren't they? Bournemouth struggling big time. They couldn't hold on to the ball last week against Poole Bournemouth. And I'm going to look for the value here. I've scoured the market. Obviously, how much are they going to win by? I'm going to go with Man City to win both halves, which is 4-5.
I like that. Wilco, I like that one. 4-5.
Yeah, 4-5. I've noted that Man City, although they're taking on all comers and they're winning their matches comfortably, it does take them a little bit of time to get going. And the approach of teams is sort of like, they just man the barricades for as long as they possibly can. And I note that the time of the first goal line is very low at 18 minutes. Usually they are, around the 23-24 margin. 5-6 at the first goal comes after the 18th minute for me.
And Milts for you, how many?
If I was going correct score, I think this could get messy. I'd go 5-0 or 6-0. I think Bournemouth are just not equipped to sit back and frustrate a side like City. We saw that in their defeat to Liverpool last weekend. I think City will really enjoy playing against Bournemouth more than they would against some of the other kind of bottom half teams. For the bet for me, I'd quite like the 10-11 about Raheem Sterling scoring at any time. He's just been absolutely rampant in front of goal this season. He's starting to show real kind of poacher's instincts of being in the right place at the right time. And shade of odds on against in a game where I think City will win comfortably. That looks a decent price for me.
Marvellous. Right then, Amanda, down to the south coast. Southampton versus Huddersfield.
Southampton are 4-7, Huddersfield 11-2, and the draw is at 11-4. I think Huddersfield have had a dismal away form this season. As we know, they've got 4 goals past Watford last week. Southampton have only 3 home wins so far. Outside with a draw for the second time here this season between the pair, and that's 11-4.
Okay, 4-7 seems quite short about Southampton for me, Wilco.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm not convinced by them at all. They've looked a bit better in the last couple of weeks. Since Charlie Austin's been back, they've had a bit more oomph up front. They made a very bright start when Arsenal went down there a couple of weeks ago and looked all over the place early on in that game. But I'm not really convinced by Southampton. And Huddersfield, as Amanda said, they had a great win at Watford. That's going to be a big boost for them, and they will think that a trip to Southampton will be a game of an equal level as a trip to Vicarage Road. So I'm going to take a chance on them. I think they could get something here. And 7-2 on a draw no bet, I think that's a good option. Marvellous.
James Milton, the Racing Post, give us a bet for that game.
Yeah, I'm always keen to take on Southampton. I think possibly the way to go here could just be under 2.5 goals at 8-11 for me. Before that Watford game, Huddersfield really struggling for goals away from home. Southampton struggle for goals anywhere. I don't think they're very good at all, and I'm not expecting great things from this game.
Okay, fair enough. Right, what a game this is. Stoke City versus West Brom, Amanda.
And it's live.
We've 6-5 for Stoke, West Brom 5-2, and the draw is at 11-5. We talked about Stoke, of course, been in big trouble. We all agree that they are big contenders to be relegated. 1 win in 6, conceding 15 in those games. West Brom haven't won a game since August, though, and I can't back Stoke after saying I think they're going to be going down. So I do think this could end up in a draw, and it's priced up at 11-5.
Welcome, Mr. Pulis.
Yeah, can't get too excited really about this one. I think when you look at the results coming in at 5 o'clock and you see them and you think that game will be last on Match of the Day, I think it will be this one. Both teams struggling for goals. Can't see them really making much of an impression. No goal scorer for me, which is probably about 6-4.
Just quickly, Amanda, what price is no goal scorer in that game?
Well, let me just get that now. We have a long list to market. So, no goal scorer. Sorry, guys. It is 5-1.
5-1. That's that's relatively short,
nice.
isn't it? But it's only value if it wins, isn't it?
Milts, for you in that game, that 6-pointer, massive game.
It is a big game. Like Amanda and Wilcar, not expecting fireworks, I must admit. I know Alan Pardew's clearly focusing on building from the back at West Brom. Scored 1 goal in his 4 games in charge, and yeah, I think you just don't want to back either of these teams. So the draw by default for me.
By default. Okay, right. Let's move on to the mighty West Ham hosting Newcastle, Amanda. And how do you see this one? And give us a Paddy Power price.
West Ham 11-10, Newcastle 13-5, and the draw is 23-10. I think West Ham have been liberated and revived under Moyes. 3 clean sheets in a row now. Newcastle 1 point out of 27. It's a West Ham win here, 11-10.
Confident selection for the Hammers there, Wilco.
Yeah, I'll never say I like West Ham, but I think they'll win this game. They've got a bit of a new lease of life, haven't they? I mean, you'll know, you'd have seen a lot more of them than me, but they've just sorted themselves out, and it doesn't take too much to drag a team up away from the bottom, does it? You have got to be a bad team to get relegated. And I think they're just going to, a bit like Palace perhaps, they're going to have enough. And these are the sort of games that they're going to need to win if they're going to not have any problems. And I think if the crowd stay on side and they make a decent start, then I would anticipate that they could beat Newcastle. So, yeah, odds against, I think that's a decent bet. 11-10,
so 2 votes for the Hammers. Milts, yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to complete the hat-trick. Yeah, I think they're a pretty solid bet at home to a Newcastle side who are really struggling. And just looking at West Ham's recent performances, that 2-1 defeat at Manchester City, which is a terrific result, really, given this season's standards. And then obviously beat Chelsea, drew with Arsenal, and won at Stoke without conceding a goal. So, I think they'll certainly be able to keep Newcastle out. Newcastle short of goals at the best of times, and I think West Ham can claim the points here.
Good man. I like the sound of that. Right, let's move on to Swansea hosting Crystal Palace, then the final of the Premier League games. Amanda, what are the prices there with Paddy Power?
Yeah, we've Swansea at 23-10, Palace 7-5, and the draw is at 2-1. Massive away win, of course, for Palace last week. That was really needed. I'm going to go with the momentum and side with them again here. They're priced up at 7-5 to beat managerless Swansea.
Managerless Swansea, indeed.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, poor old Paul Clement. It's a bit of a shame, really, because he got the chance, and it was a different name. They tried something different, and he seemed very amiable sort of bloke. I was quite. I was hoping that he'd be able to pull it round down there, but it doesn't look like, he's gone now. So he wasn't able to. I like Palace. This would be my nap of the week, I think. Swansea are down on their luck. There doesn't seem much of a... The manager's gone, but there seems a lack of direction down there, whereas Palace have made the change earlier, and Roy Hodgson's got them flying. It was a great result at Leicester. Will Sahar's playing really well. The results are coming, like West Ham. They look like they've just turned the corner, and I think they'll be going down to Wales very confident, and they'll come back with the points.
Okay, Milts, for you, we've got 2 sides here sort of moving in opposite directions on the Premier League table.
Yeah. I mean, I think Swansea had to get rid of Paul Clement, really.
Yeah.
They've just looked at what the managerial changes have done for other clubs like Palace and West Ham. And they lost 6 of their 9 home games. So I think Palace, but after that win at Leicester, I think they're probably the value bet here as well. I think they're a side really set up to do well away from home. Lots of pace on the counter attack, and I expect them to win this game.
Marvellous stuff. Right, there you go. This the guys' thoughts on the rest of the Premier League action there. Right, let's switch to the continent, shall we? Real Madrid versus Barcelona. No small matter,
If there wasn't
Milko.
enough football to watch this weekend, it's great.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, these are always great games, aren't they? I mean, not just the quality of the players on show, but if you don't want to go out your house and you like a nice Saturday evening tear up, then there's nothing better than a Real Madrid-Barcelona game, is there?
But we need a bet for the game.
The bet for the game. Well, I'll give you 2. How's
Go
that?
on, then.
Would you like 2? Barcelona 14 points clear if they win this game. I think that's a massive motivation for them, and I think they'll get the job done. But I think there tends to be a lot of goals in these matches, so I'll be backing Barcelona at 21-10, but I think they'll concede. And Sergio Ramos always tends to have an effect on these matches, either by getting himself sent off or by finding the net. And 8-1 to score at any time might be worth a little small interest.
It does like the score in this fixture. Right then, Amanda, give us some prices from Paddy Power.
Yeah, sure. Real Madrid are 11-10, Barcelona 21-10, as Ian mentioned, and the draw is at 11-4. If you're looking for value, I think Barcelona are absolute value at 21-10. Obviously, 11 points clear of Real Madrid, but Real Madrid starting to come back into a little bit of form now after getting the Champions League group stage woes out of their way. But I think they're just too good. 21-10 for Barca is just is pretty big.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. What about yourself, Milps?
Yeah, I think that does look a big price. I mean, the one concern you'd have as a Barcelona backer is, if it's 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, or whatever, Barca don't really need to go mad looking for that winner because they've got such a chunky lead over Real in the league. I like the look of Luis Suarez, 9-2 to score first. Actually, he's had a fairly slow start to the season, but 6 goals in his last 7, and I'm with. Fairly keen on Barcelona, so it should create chances, and he could be the one.
Marvellous. Right, that's all the live action tackled. Now we're going to dig out the guys' best bets of the weekend.
This will not be beaten.
Ian Wilkerson of the Racing Post, you have the floor.
My best bet, as already mentioned, is Crystal Palace to win at Swansea. Swansea a bit all over the place, sacked their manager this week. Don't seem to know whether they're coming or going. Palace know where they're going. The only direction they're going is up the table.
So, Crystal Palace to beat Swansea for Wilco. Milts?
I'm going for Leeds to beat Hull in the Championship. Leeds have won 4 of their last 6. Oh, sorry, my daughter's just come in to give her best bet, I think. Sorry, got Tigger to see me. Sorry, where was I? Leeds to beat Hull in the Championship. They've won 4 of their last 6. Their only blip was a defeat at runaway leaders Wolves. And Hull have taken 2 points from a possible 33 against teams in the top half. And they're not likely to add to that tally at Elland Road. I've got to queue up another episode of Hey Dougie to keep her quiet now. Apologies for that.
Right, 2 votes for Leeds there. 1 from Milts, 1 from Tigger. And yourself, Amanda, complete the treble for us.
Well, we mentioned it as well already. I'm actually going to side with West Ham. I think it's a result I'm most confident with in those Saturday matches and odds against. You're getting about that 11-10 for West Ham.
Okay, and what does the treble pay? I'll put you on the spot a bit there if you've been...
A tenner gets you 92 quid. I like the look of that.